right. So at least I started recording before you guys started to talk. So we just won't have a little bit of the discussion about what the topic is. So protein powders. Let's get started. Let's see what the article says about them. And let's see who's up first. Fatma, would you like to start today?
Yes, thank you, Natasha. Protein powders, are they bad for your health? Many people consume protein powder supplements, especially in older age or to bulk up muscles. Are they a good thing to be taken? When I go into my local health food store, there is one corner that's always been a bit of a mystery to me. The shelves backed with the dozens of white plastic tubs filled with powdered protein supplements. In the changing room at the gym, however, there are plenty who sing their praises, explaining that they simply add a scoop of powder to milk or to a smoothie, work out, and then build extra muscle. When their popularity reaching way beyond bodybuilders and professional athletes, now seems like a good time to look at the evidence around protein powders. Shall I continue or?
Yeah, I think one more.
Thank you. Some people use a protein drink as a snack between meals, or even use it instead of meal if they have not got time to eat. People eating a vegan diet sometimes use the supplements to up their protein intake if they feel they are not getting enough. And there are hundreds of new food products in supermarkets, from cereal bars to ice cream and chocolate, which signal their protein containing credentials in bold letters. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's have a look at this part here. Questions, comments? Okay, credentials. What do you think they mean here by credentials? It's not quite credits. It's also not quite ingredients or supposed benefits. I think maybe it's helpful if you think about how we use credential in another area. So like when you're in a job interview, for example, and they're asking about your credentials, what they're really asking for are kind of your qualifications, or, your, a document or references, exactly. Something that kind of proves that you can do what it is that you say you can do. So here when they say, what was it? They're protein containing credentials. What it means is they're kind of like providing proof or, some kind of evidence that they're filled with protein. They're kind of giving you this information or like this report in a way to show that they're that it contains a lot of protein in it. Yeah, I think if you think about it as like a reference or a certificate or kind of proof of something, they're kind of like giving this signal as proof that, yes, this contains protein, this has a lot of protein in it. This kind of idea. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay, great. There was another question here. Okay, to bulk up muscles. Yes, when we talk about bulk up, we're talking about building muscles. Really, when you say bulk up, it means about making something bigger. So we use it with muscles, but we can use it with other things as well. For example, if you talk about bulking up your meal, it means you're adding something to your meal to kind of make it bigger or to make it more satisfying. But in this case, obviously, it's about making your muscles bigger, growing your muscles. Yeah, those kinds of muscles. Okay. Any other questions here? Anything I missed? Smoothie. What is a smoothie? Konstantin, did you want to answer that or did you want to ask something else?
Maybe both, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So smoothie is a kind of a drink. Then you can do from some blended things, and it's you use your blender and put this thing in, and so it's just a kind of special drink, and is maybe not like water. It is not transparent, but it is contains of some structure of ingredients you make. And maybe it is wrong, but my first idea was comment. Maybe it is like different things when you start to become bulk, and you start to became ripple. Ripple is a special thing, you know. It's then you have a lot of muscle, and it is not about. So it's a little amount of fat in your organism. So it's for bodybuilders, and maybe it is from their slang. It is to be ripped. Maybe I am not correct in pronunciation, but I will write it in chat. Thank you.
Yes, you're right. Ripped. Exactly. We use it to talk about when the muscles are like really well defined, really, because you can feel, there's that idea that maybe you can trace around all the muscles. You can kind of see the edge of all the muscles in a way. So it is kind of like a slang term, I guess, they talk about when somebody is very muscly, when their muscles are very obvious. We can say that they're ripped. They're ripped or they're well built. It is a term that we can use, exactly. Okay. Yes, okay. So I think we're okay with smoothie now as well, right? So basically for it to be a smoothie, you probably have to have at least 2 ingredients, fruit and some kind of like milk or yogurt, usually. If it's made with water instead of milk, sometimes we call it a different name that I've forgotten about now. I've forgotten what we call it, but usually it's a different name. So the basic smoothie would be, for example, a fruit and milk. But obviously you can make like different types of smoothie and lots of other ingredients you can add to it. Obviously here they're talking about adding protein powder to it as well. And yes, Manu, so the machine is a blender, exactly. The machine that we use to mix everything together would be the blender. Okay. Any other questions in this part? Actually, you can have vegan smoothies as well, but sometimes to make them vegan, they use something like tofu instead of yogurt or milk. Or they use a different kind of milk, like oat milk or nut milk or something like this. Yeah, not even tofu milk, just tofu. And it gets all mixed up, it gets all blended up when you put it in the blender. Okay, any other questions before we keep going? Okay, let's keep reading. Let's see who's up next. Oh, I lost my... here it is. Constantine, would you like to read?
Yes, sure. There is a range of strength available with the highest doses aimed at bodybuilders. The powder might come from an animal source such as eggs or milk, or from plants, for example, protein from peas. Potatoes, rice and soybeans can all be extracted and powdered, sometimes with added flavoring to make them taste good. Protein is big business, but how many of us really need any extra? There is no doubt that protein is an essential part of the diet. We need it to build and repair muscles, to help our bones stay strong, to maintain the immune system, and to keep our brains, hearts, and skin doing what we need them to. Thank you.
Would you like to read one more?
Yes, thank you. Food such as eggs, milk, yogurt, fish, lentils, meat, soya, nuts, and seeds are all rich in protein, and the majority of adults in high-income countries to get at least the daily amount of protein recommended by health authorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at this part. Questions, comments? Question? Constantine?
Just want to add this kind of powder, protein powder supplements also contain is not only the pure protein, but also enough of another elements to need to your organism, and it also about vitamins and vitamins, or maybe some special elements, and it is more, maybe a little bit more complicated than just a pure protein. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they mentioned here, I think, what was it? Sometimes with added flavorings to make them taste good. But I think sometimes, I think most, I would say, have something else added to them. Flavorings, other vitamins, other minerals, other kind of substances, either for better or for worse, I would say as well. But maybe maybe this is one of the aspects they'll talk about a little bit later. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Looks like this part is okay for everyone though, so let's keep reading. Nina, would you like to read?
Yes, thank you. In a meta-analysis